Nobody ever had a thought that came to them from out of the blue.
Have a great stay here in Epcot or wherever your final destination may take you.
Here in Florida, we have something special, the blessing of science. There's enough land here to hold all the ideas and plans we could possibly imagine.
Hey, thanks for being such a great test crew. Come back and ride anytime.
WDW Radio, your information station.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to the WDW Radio Show, your Walt Disney World information station. I am your host, Lou Mongello, and this is show number 477, and I'm here once again not only to help you have the best possible vacation experience when you come to Walt Disney World, but I also want to try and help bring you a little bit of that Disney magic wherever you are, whenever you are, with the podcast, blog, videos, live broadcasts on Facebook every Wednesday night, my books, audio tours, some new things I'm working on, and more. Again, you can find everything over at WDWRadio.com. So the 24th annual Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival returns bigger, better, more interactive, and yes, delicious than ever. So this week, join us live from the festival as we explore, experience, and enjoy the wide variety of activities and destinations, and also share our list of the best from this year's festival. From topiaries to garden destinations, the Garden Rocks concert series, family fun, merchandise, outdoor kitchens, of course, conservation activities, new tours, and more. And of course, we're going to review some of the best of the food and drinks as I invite you to join us on the promenade, then call in and share some of your favorites from the festival as well. I'll then have the answer to our last Walt Disney World trivia question of the week and pose a new challenge for your chance to win a Disney Prize package. Then stay tuned to the end of the show for some updates, events, announcements, and of course your voicemails. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of the WDW Radio Show. I'm going to start off with a spoiler alert, because not that it necessarily matters to you, but I will tell you right off the bat that the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival in the past few years has quickly risen to not just my, but my family's favorite special event of the year. From the farm-to-table flavors, to the flowers, to the interactive, family-friendly elements, even more so this year, the entertainment and everything else. It really is the perfect formula where it has become a feast for all five senses in 360 degrees. And because I love this festival so much, and because I'm clearly horrible at math, if you've ever heard past top 10 episodes, I realized that there was no way that I could do the top 10 things that I love about, the top 10 things to eat or see and or do at this year's Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. So maybe I'll resurrect the subject that I used to talk about a lot, because we're going to talk about this week the best of the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, because I think there are so many more than just 10 things to enjoy while you're here. It's the first weekend of the festival. It's the second. This is for me the third day that I have been here, and I think that's a testament to just how much there is to see, do, eat, and enjoy, even just beyond wandering the promenade. So joining me this week are some friends. It's my family who enjoys the festival, I think, just as much as I do, and I think you're going to hear a testament to that along the way. And once again, in order of ladies first, Marion Mongello.
Hi.
Deanna Mongello.
Hello.
And Nicholas.
Get ready to fall in love, America.
Nicholas, you have become the king of the one-liners. And look, this is actually, we're recording this on a Sunday, the first weekend of the festival. This is the second day that we've been here. We were here all day yesterday. We are back again today because, one, we couldn't do it all in one day, which I think is part of the beauty of the festival, but because we had such a good time. Like, Marion, this is the first time, I think, in a long time I've heard you say how excited and how much you wanted to come back and do something, not just again, but the day after we did it, the first time.
Yeah, I've really been getting into, like, the flowers and taking pictures, and I've really been I really have been enjoying it. And the butterfly garden is one of my favorite times to come, my favorite reason to come for the whole entire year. Like, I could go there and spend hours in there because I love it.
Well, so it's interesting because you're starting off with something, it's sort of the best things to enjoy and reasons to come to Flower and Garden. And you mentioned something that's not even really in a guidebook or on a map, and that is just you with your phone walking around and taking pictures. And as a amateur photographer, there's so many opportunities here for beautiful photography shots, whether it is on a grand scale of looking over at the lagoon or right behind us, the flower beds, bar journey into imagination. But you love getting able to get so up close to the flowers and the butterflies and get really neat kind of photographic opportunities that you don't really get other times a year here.
Yeah, I really enjoy being able to get really up close, detailed pictures of the flowers and the butterflies. And
in that, I have found that there are so many little educational opportunities in that, right? Because we'll kick off with the best of the best. One of the things being the butterfly garden. You specifically asked to come back, not to ride a ride. I don't know who you are. You didn't ask to come back and eat food. You came back to ask to go to the butterfly garden. What is it about you, about the garden, that is such an attractor for you?
I always beg to go to the garden. In fact, I've been begging all day to go today. And I really hope that we're going to be able to go later, but I really like it because I get to learn more about butterflies because they're such, beautiful things, and flowers. There are so many, I really like being able to look at flowers that that you don't see all the time, and they're just, you can get so up close and get really nice photos of them.
And there's also, there's a lot of little informational plaques, and there's people there to talk to you about everything from how the butterflies, how they hatch from the chrysalises, to the flowers that attract them and why they're in there. Do you know why I like it? Because it's presented by Go-Go Squeeze, and when you walk in or walk out, they give you one of the little Go-Go Squeezes. Listen, there's nothing wrong with enjoying a little apple juice, a little applesauce in a pouch while you're enjoying the butterflies. So we're starting off with the butterflies being the first thing. Is this something that you guys enjoy to go through, to photograph, to maybe learn a little bit as well?
Yeah, I actually really like it because it's very peaceful and kind of quiet in there, and it's very nice to see all the butterflies flying around. And before you realize that you have a butterfly on your finger.
And I was waiting for one of you to say that. There is no sort of screen in between you and the butterflies. You can sort of reach your hand out, buy some of the flowers, and so many times the butterflies will actually land on your finger, sometimes on your head.
So we've been calling Marion the Butterfly Whisperer because although she's really enjoying it this year, she's enjoyed the butterfly garden every year. And she seems to have this touch that whenever she goes up to a butterfly, they always seem to attract to her and land on her fingers. So,
yeah. Go follow my Instagram account, Marion Rose Photography, on Instagram.
So the reason why I think this is a good way to start is because I think, especially in Deanna, we were talking about this earlier as we were walking around in between stuffing our faces, is that I think more so than any of the other events, there is so much fun for families here, and there's so many opportunities for families as you go through, whether it's the play gardens, where they have the different sort of play areas for kids that are themed towards the Florida 500 or the music garden melodies, the Florida Fresh Gardens. It's places for kids to sort of expend a little energy and play around, but there's so much to do for kids. But what I think it's really doing, and this is what I love, I think I've always loved about Epcot, is there's education by way of entertainment. So kids are learning about, maybe you should put your phone down and get away from the video games and get out from in front of the TV and go outside. You're encouraged to not just play outside, but to learn. I mean, there's opportunities to create little miniature gardens, and there's so many people here to help teach you. I mean, they'll give you seeds or they'll give you instructions on how you can do a lot of things that you see here at home. So I think if you look for the little the gardens marked with the DCF, the Disney Conservation Fund, you'll have opportunities to learn, but I think take some of those learning opportunities home and make them more entertainment. So for I think the first best of the best ways to enjoy time with families is the Butterfly Garden and the Go-Go Squeeze.
Right. So on top of that, you go into the Butterfly Garden and they hand you a nice, cool Go-Go Squeeze as a refreshment after you leave the Butterfly Garden. So it's, it goes back to eating.
I might just wander through the Butterfly Garden again. I'll tell Marion it's for her, but really it's just for me so I can get one on the way out. I think, too, another one of the best here, obviously a big part of the Flower and Garden Festival are the topiaries that you can see from the moment you enter Future World, or even if you come via the International Gateway. I think there are probably about 25 or so topiaries, which the horticultural team, I have to stop and pause and give credit to. Eric and the entire team of horticulturists that really do operate behind the scenes. This is their opportunity to shine. Look, the flower beds behind us under the monorail beam are they're breathtakingly beautiful in terms of the color. But even as you walk through and see some of the topiaries, we almost take for granted that is a living thing that was put together. The faces now, the topiaries, like in Snow White, the new Belle topiary is beautiful. What do you think, as we walk through, what do you think is the best of the best of the topiaries? I have a personal favorite, but Nicholas is waving his hand frantically because I think he wants to get it before I steal it from him.
Mine is, I think it's a new one. It's the new Figment one. And in Future World, I love that one. It's so cool and cute and dragon-like.
So you took mine. So that was going to be mine. The Figment right behind Spaceship Earth is even more beautiful than ever. And again, they've done so much more to make the faces be more than just... The faces are so much more detailed now because of the type of flowers that they use and the type of plants that they use.
So it's interesting that, of course, Nicholas said Figment, because Figment is Nicholas's favorite. And since this year, one of the main things for Flower and Garden is Figment. And he's on all the shirts and a lot of cups and everything. But Nicholas has a Figment that he carried with him everywhere. And we actually have a really good friend, Virginia, who ended up making Nicholas the same shirt for Figment.
Right, because they used to sell the Figment plush without the old yellow sweater. She made him a yellow sweater.
Made him a yellow sweater, which, Virginia, we still have it. And we can't thank you enough, but that was one of the biggest things that Nicholas carried everywhere.
That Figment plush and that little jacket will always have a special place in my heart.
Or eBay. Marion, is there one... is there one of the topiaries that you walked by that really struck you?
Okay, so, I can't not say the one that we're sitting right by right now. We're sitting by the butterfly one, and I really like that because, as you heard before, I really like butterflies. But I also really like the Winnie the Pooh kind of setup with the Piglet, because the Piglet's made out of succulents, and I really like the succulents. But I also really like the Lion King because, it's the Lion King.
So the one that I like is actually multiple because I'm Lou and I can say more than one. Because there are a few of them, and something that's new this year that you can look for is the photo opportunities now allow you to really get in and get close to. So, for example, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you can now stand behind Snow White, and the way the PhotoPass photographer is lined up, there's props. You can grab a pickaxe, you can grab some jewels, you can get in there, not just one person, but your whole family. And the way that the angle is taken with Snow White and then your family and then the Seven Dwarfs really makes you become part of the topiary sculptures themselves. And that, I think, is one of the best new things that they've added this year.
Right. They also have one when you walk in, so you get actually a picture of you with the Farm Fresh Chip and Dale. Right. The one thing that I want to say is I think when you walk into the park, one of the most amazing things that they did was the one they did with the maypole, with Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Pluto. Like
No, it's Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, and
Daisy, sorry.
And it was, I don't know, I think it was
Maypole.
Goofy or something.
Yeah, but anyway, the maypole that they did is just so brilliant and so captivating when you walk in. You get all the characters, and I think it really hits you and says, wow, look what we're going to see while we're here. I have to also say, I always love the 3 Caballeros. They're always one of my favorites. And the other thing is that Tinkerbell, she's always one of my favorites. And she's actually, you can get really close to her this year with her little fairy houses. Yeah, we're a fairy garden.
They moved the fairy garden from over by Test Track, the walkway by Test Track, because now they put in the Daytona exhibit over there. And I do, obviously, Peter Pan's my favorite character. I love the fact that you have to sort of search for him up at the top of the United Kingdom. But I love the fact that sort of on page 2 of your festival guide is a checklist. And I think you should use that checklist as almost a scavenger hunt. You know, and we're going to talk more on the other scavenger hunts you can do here. But here's one that's built in. It doesn't cost you anything. And being able to walk through and find them and check them off the list, I think there's something that anybody can do of any age, and more importantly, you can do together as a family.
Absolutely. So we always have fun trying to find where all of them are, and it is so nice that they actually have this list here telling you exactly where all of these topiaries are.
But you can even use like the checklist as like, hey, we want to make sure we get a picture with every single one, or I'm going to get a picture. You know, do it like a photo scavenger hunt. Make sure you get a picture with all the topiaries. So, I mean, and the other one, too, I think that is remarkable this year is the Bromelia dragon in China is absolutely spectacular. The colors and the details of the dragon it's one of the ones I think you should make a special trip over to go and see.
And it's kind of almost hard to find. You really need to go into the country and look like in the, what's it called, the little pond lake thing, and you actually find also while you're there one of the Easter eggs, which is another thing that's a scavenger hunt, and I think it's $5.99, and you can get this little map, and they give you some stickers, and you go around to each country and you look for the Easter egg and you match up the sticker to the country, and then once you're all done, you go to the store. I think it's port of entry. You go there, and then you can
surprise.
Yeah, you get a little surprise. I said a surprise. Okay. You go.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I was gonna.
But you actually do get a physical prize that you cannot buy. It's only and the nice thing that they did here, and it's called the Egg Extravaganza, is that, and I think there's 12 or so hidden eggs around.
Yeah, there are 12. Wow.
Once you find all the eggs, you do get a physical takeaway. They move year after year, and this year it does run for the entire length of the festival as opposed to only on Easter weekend, which it was originally. So you don't have to worry about missing it if you're not able to get here over Easter weekend. And at $5.99, again, it's inexpensive. It'll keep you guys busy and keep the kids busy. It'll keep the kids busy and occupied. Parents, I'm talking to you. It'll help keep your kids occupied the entire time that you are moving around, and you don't have to do it all in one day, which is nice.
It's so enjoyable. You know, I actually get so into coming here and doing the Easter egg hunt into all the countries. Sometimes my kids don't get excited as I do when I find the eggs, but it's still so much fun as a family.
And this year is challenging.
It is.
You really have to search for, and listen, sometimes they're not always at eye level. Just give a little bit of hint. All right, so in terms of other best of the best, I think people also need to understand, if you've never been here before, when it's called the Flower and Garden Festival, there really are probably 30, I'm ballparking, destinations in terms of garden destinations to visit, where throughout just Future World and World Showcase, there are scenes and vignettes that have been created either specific to that country, maybe around a specific theme. There are new ones this year. So if you look on your Flower and Garden book, you'll actually, again, there's a checklist of all the destinations, where they are. Are there any ones that were remarkable or memorable, or ones that you like to visit? Because I know for me, there is usually one that is a personal favorite, but one that really kind of struck me this year. And while you guys sort of think back, for me, Japan, if you've listened to the show before, you know, is my favorite country. the little mini garden and all of the bonsai trees, not just in the little Zen rock garden in front of Mitsukoshi, but even on the across the promenade by the Torii Gate. To me, the way those small trees are designed, I love Japanese culture. I love the art and the architecture. There is something beautiful about it, and there's also something very calming. I don't know how to describe it, but I love the bonsai tree. So for me, the Japanese mini garden was my favorite, but because I always have to do this, my honorable mention is going to go over to Italy, because this year, more so than in the past, Italy has this incredible container garden set, for lack of a better word, which is just against sort of the Isola on the lagoon side. Yeah. It looks to me, and I'm ballparking, it maybe is quadrupled, quintupled from the number that there were last year.
Yeah, so my favorite, I think, I have a lot of favorites. But
I know, the Butterfly Haven.
My first, no, it's actually not that one. My first one is actually the Shakespeare Garden in the UK. I spent about 5 minutes while my parents were getting food, shocker, going around and taking pictures. And that's where the Peter Pan and the Tinkerbell and the little fairy gardens are. And I really, really enjoyed it because the Shakespeare Garden has this giant rose patch. It has a bunch of my favorite flowers like daisies and, what are they called? I don't know. They almost look fake, but they're so pretty, and they're one of my favorite places. Next to that, though, I do really like Italy because there are a lot of flowers there, but I also really enjoy the Extraordinary Orchid Garden, which is a little bit hidden.
My favorite.
And I really like it because orchids you don't find everywhere. They're really hard to find, and they're really hard to, keep alive. But in the Extraordinary Orchid Garden, there are just trees, filled with orchids and different kinds. It's in between Mexico and...
It's sort of attached to Mexico. It's sort of around the corner of Mexico.
It's in between... It's a little bit hidden.
It's actually the wheelchair path. It's the wheelchair path up to... It's actually the wheelchair path up to the pyramid that brings you inside is where the orchid... And it's funny because you all thought that the garden kind of ended because you didn't look up. And once you looked up, you saw that there were hundreds more above eye level.
Right. The orchids they actually had sitting in the trees, which was pretty amazing. So you did. In order to see more orchids, you had to look up.
And one of the things you mentioned touched on another experience here that I want to mention. But Nicholas, were there any gardens that you walked by that really sort of impressed you, or that you liked taking pictures of, or that you wanted to go back to? I think there's one that we haven't seen yet that we're going to bring you over to in Future World East. It's prehistoric plants, because I know you love your dinosaurs.
I'm excited for that, but my favorite is probably the Japan bonsai tree one. That one was pretty nice. I liked all the little bonsai trees. They're so cute and tiny, and I like them.
So if we're talking about best of the best, there is something else that takes place during Flower and Garden that I think is... Oh, wait, you just had an epiphany.
Yes, that thing that takes place during Flower and Garden that's amazing is the tea and scone tour.
Dude, spoiler, you beat me to the punch again. All right, so it is the English tea gardens in the UK. So Marion, when you talk about the Shakespeare gardens, I love the tea gardens, which are you can always walk through the gardens of the UK, but during Flower and Garden, they actually bring out the Twinings tea gardens. One of the experiences that is there normally is the Twinings Tea Tour, which is a free tour that takes place, I believe, on weekends 4 times a day, weekdays, I believe, 2 or 3 times a day.
I think it's during the week. I think it's all. I think there are 3 a day, and then on the weekends. No. During the week it's 2 a day, during the weekends, it's $3, right?
Right. So they basically offer 3 options. You can do a self-guided tour. You can just walk through wherever, because like all of the other plantings that are throughout here, there is signage that'll help explain what's there. They also have the English Tea Garden Tour, which you can sign up for day of. So if you go to the UK Pavilion, maybe when it first opens at 11 a.m., you can pick your tour times. I believe there are 2 or 3 during weekdays. There are a few more on weekends. The important thing to note is it's complimentary, and anybody of any age can go through. I also believe it is completely accessible. So if you have a scooter or a wheelchair, you should be able to get through. But something that's new this year, which I like me a lot, is the Royal Garden Tea Tour. This is, again, it's a VIP guided tour with samplings of tea and scones. Now this one is $15, but I will tell you that it's well worth it because of tea and scones. But you really get a little bit more of an in-depth tour from a tour. And if you like tea or think that you know tea, I will tell you that it's an absolutely fascinating tour in terms of not only how tea is blended, but I learned so much this year about what I was doing wrong when I was making my tea. It has changed my tea drinking. I'm not kidding. You look at me like I'm a crazy person. I kid you not, about how long it should steep, what you should do with the tea bag, what should be added, what you should or should not have with it. Oh, no, I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to share it with you. You need to take the tour itself because, wait, at the end, there's scones. There's tea and scones, and there's 2 different types of scones. There's a savory scone, and there's a sweet scone with clotted cream and berries. You've heard me say, probably ad nauseum in the past, that I'm a savory person. The sweet scone is so good with that nice cup of that new buttermint tea. You can see how excited I am. I cannot recommend that tour highly enough.
I've never taken it, but it sounds really good.
I know. So I'm looking forward to it.
That tour is amazing. Take it or else.
It is. You know what, though? But it's a beautiful, relaxing tour. I kid about having the scones and the tea at the end, but it is a nice sort of treat after learning about the tea. And then again, if you aren't, look, what I've learned is that tea is like wine. There are so many different varieties of teas and sort of a right way to brew your tea and to drink your tea. And again, like wine, as you become more educated, it makes for a better experience. And all of a sudden you're saying, hey, I'm not just going to get this cup of Lipton tea. I'm going to try something else and see how a pairing of tea with scones actually makes a difference. All right, so we're talking about best of the best. One of the reasons why, and one of the things that I like most about this, is the Garden Rocks concert series. I am clearly going to show my age because when I saw the list of bands and tribute bands that was performing this year, I got so excited, like those Pointer Sisters. Marion, you're looking at the list, you have no idea. John Cicada, Dennis DeYoung, The Music of Styx. I have 4 words for you. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Thank you very much, Mr. Roboto, for doing the job. Nobody want to. The Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited.
I'm coming to see Expose.
Night Ranger. Sister Christian. Well, at the time, young, no. The Little River Band. Okay, Gin Blossoms. You've heard of Gin? No. Starship. We Built This City. You know it from the Muppets.
Oh, okay.
We built the city on rock and roll. This year, all right. So not only is Berlin here, Take My Breath Away, but Expose is here. So
Expose, I am coming to probably both nights because they.
Oh, Hunka Bunka Ballroom from the 1980s and 90s.
Hunka Bunka Ballroom. Yes, here we go, showing our age.
Herman Hermits, the Guess Who. So all right. So we're talking about best of the best. If you could only see, not that you can because we're local, so we're fortunate. These run from March 3rd through May 29th. If you could only pick one of these to see, which would it be? And while you're looking at your list, it's important to note that there's a dining package available. So this, again, is what I think is the best of the best. You don't have to wait online for the concerts that take place at 5:30, 6:45, and 8 o'clock. If you call 407-WDW-DINE, you can do a dining package where you go get your ADR for a Restaurant and World Showcase, and then, Marion, you get special seating to go. the orchestra, ELO.
Okay, guess what we're doing? We're going to get a dining package and we're going to see Expose, baby. Oh, yeah, we are, kiddo.
Marion, me and the Spinners, we're working our way back to you, babe.
Yeah.
No?
No? Wow. With your parents? It would be so much fun. I know.
You're taking me to the point of no return? Oh, I can't wait to go see. I am whipping out the cavalry trees and my Michael Jackson jacket.
Cavaricci's? Really?
I think I might have a pair of Capezio shoes that might still...
I think I'm going to tease my hair, although my hair is always pretty 80s.
I think I still have a hypercolor shirt, Marion. No? Do you have any of those black rubber bracelets like Madonna? All right, moving on. All right, so we've covered the topiaries, the destinations, the garden rocks, different fun family things you can do. I think some of the best too. Let's talk about some of the merchandise that's available, because that's one of the things, and for those of people who are sort of collectors, that is a big attractor for them because there's such unique merchandise that comes here. Was there one item, I'm a Tervis tumbler collector, so I'm going to eventually have to get my Tervis tumbler, but was there one item that you would like to see or bring back to the house? Now think carefully before you answer this.
It would be a Tervis tumbler, but as an annual pass holder, there are some exclusive things that that you can get for merchandise. The shirts are really nice. There's a couple pins, and there's also a Tervis wine glass.
So I thought you were going to say that you liked the Figment welcome rock that you can put like in your garden but that answer is wrong. And I'm happy you didn't say, because for me, what I love are so many of the little kiosks down at the promenade. And my favorite, and Marion, you can chime in here, is the Elemental Nursery. Because at the Elemental Nursery, that's where you can not only purchase little bamboo and bonsai trees.
My favorite place ever.
Right, so tell me why. Tell me why the Elemental Nursery, which is located in between African Outpost and Germany on the water side of the promenade.
Back up for 1 second.
No, copyright.
Okay, stop that. So, Mary, what is it about the Elemental Nursery that makes it the best shopping location for you?
I really like taking care of succulents and plants, especially being able to put them in my own pot, and succulents and bamboo. You don't really need to care for them. You water them once a week, and they're still alive, which is a miracle. And I love doing that, and I love being able to take care and plant my own plants. So we are going back there, and I'm getting my own little succulent.
Well, what I like too, look, I said before how much I loved bonsais. You can get, and more importantly, learn how to care for and nurture the plant the right way. There's actually teas and tea accessories there as well. But you talk about bringing home a unique gift from Epcot, and you don't have to be a local. You'll be able to transport, because they're small, you can transport them, or they'll ship them back to you. But you can take that small bamboo tree, put it in your office, a small bonsai tree, and bring a little bit of the festival home. And what I like is the ability to learn about it and how to care for it the right way. Like Mr. Miyagi. I want to be like Mr. Miyagi in my office.
So they have a plant.
Mr. Miyagi is from karate and whatever.
Okay, so they have a plant there that I'm going to get, and it is called, I'm going to tell you the name of it. It is called a
Asian pitcher plant. It's a carnivorous plant which eats bugs.
Right. So here in Florida, if you have a lanai, these plants are so wonderful because if you put them in the lanai, even though it's screened in, sometimes those little nasty no-see-ums can get in and bite you. Well, guess what? We're getting them all.
Feed me Seymour. Can we call it like Seymour?
Sure.
You know what that's from?
No. I know. Sigmund Sea Monster?
Oh, close. Little Shop of Horrors. Close enough. And now I've saved the best of the best of the best for last. Because the name is the Flower and Garden Festival, but it's really the flower and garden and food and wine and beverage and dessert and culinary adventure festival. 24th annual. I can't wait for next year. 25 years. It's going to be, make your reservation. I'm going to be here every day. I'm going to camp out.
I'm in.
This year, there are 15 outdoor kitchens, including the Berry Basket in Showcase Plaza and Northern Bloom in Canada. And we've said this in the past, and the reason why I think this has become our favorite event, even more so than Food and Wine, which you'd think would be right in Lou Mangello's wheelhouse, is because there are only 15. And I think it's the perfect, like I said at the beginning, it's the perfect combination of things to eat and to taste and to do and to look at and listen to and enjoy, because Food and Wine can get overwhelming. You know, when there's 25, 30 kiosks, that's a lot to do, and I think it's a much different experience. I think this is a much more even family-friendly experience. Over the past 2 days, we have gone through and tasted many of the items, and rather do a full-blown live review of everything that we've eaten. Not that I'm not going to do that in the future, probably on the show, potentially live. Maybe I'll do a live walkabout. I haven't done one of those in years. I'm going to give us our top 10-ish items that we've tried. And this is in no particular order other than as I go through the basket. So these are, sorry. You see, I'm thinking about baskets of food. As I go through the booklet, starting with Urban Farm Eats and making our way around from Showcase Plaza, clockwise back around. So from Urban Farm Eats, the crabless cake with crispy vegetable slaw, lemon vinaigrette, and Old Bay remoulade, which is a vegetarian option, was one that I've tried over the last couple of times. Nicholas, you tried that today. What do you think of your? Because this was the thing that you would, when I asked you before the show to pick out one item, that's like one of the things that you had on your list of 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, it was.
And what do you think of it?
It was really, really good. It was like, which one? It was really, the crabless cake was really like crispy, and it had like a good taste. When we got it, like it didn't come with a vinaigrette because people thought it was so good they ran out of vinaigrette, but it was still good without it, and it was still a really good cake.
And what I'll do is we actually recorded some of these. We sort of did, because I wanted to, the reason why I like doing the live recordings is because I want to capture the moment and the essence of exactly what it is that you're feeling. So I'll play some of those at the end of this. Number 2 from the Berry Basket is the warm wild berry buckle with pepper berry sorbet. You've heard me say before, I'm more of a savory over a sweet guy, but I will tell you, I tried this, and because I liked it so much, I tried it again. It was delicious. Next on the list, number 3 is the sugarcane shrimp skewer with steamed rice and coconut lime sauce from La Isla Fresca.
We had that yesterday, and it was absolutely delicious. So that Caribbean conch salad, it actually was so refreshing. It had huge chunks of avocado, mango, and onions in it, and the conch. It was delicious. I'm going to make it at home. We also
don't bother. We could just come. I'm just going to get it from here
so
instead.
We also had the sugarcane skewer, which they give you a lot of shrimp on it, and the sauce was really delicious.
All right. Next is the from Mexico, the Jardin de Fiestas, the bruschetta.
Garden of Parties. Or
Thank you.
Party of Gardens.
How about just to call it a garden party? The bruschetta de pollo de San Morita, the grilled chicken with the red and green bell pepper with the salsa chili morita and with micro cilantro and edible flowers. It was not afraid to be a little spicy, which is exactly what I liked. Next, and this could be my favorite and the sleeper of Flower and Garden Festival, the currywurst with paprika chips, the roasted bratwurst with the curry ketchup and paprika spice chips from the Bauner Market in Farmers Market in Germany. We also love this is a returning favorite, always on the list, is the beef brisket burnt ends hash with white cheddar fondue and pickled jalapenos from the American Adventure. Number 6, 7-ish, whatever it might be, is pretty much Morocco. It's the merguez hot dog sausage, the homemade falafel, and the baklava. Marion, that was your...
Oh, my favorite.
You could just do that all day, every day. From Florida Fresh, I was incredibly impressed by the carne asada with black bean cake and cilantro lime sour cream. The massive amounts of sweet and tender and juicy pork and how it seeps into the black bean cake is phenomenal. Marion, I know would love the macaron chocolat framboise.
I wanted to try that so bad.
We are going to come back from that. The UK. Deanna, you loved the pear cider brine shredded corned beef. We actually did a live mini review of that. Again, I'll play that at the end with the braised cabbage and pears and Branston dressing. You guys didn't have this today, but I've had this multiple times. The seared scallops with the green beans and the potatoes. Did you have that?
Yesterday. It was scrumptious. I mean, the scallops are a large size portion and really, really, really cooked.
Well, they're small scallops, right? Because sometimes the larger scallops, and again, it's one of those things, if they're not cooked properly, can be tough.
I also find that sometimes scallops, if they're not cooked properly, can be very sandy. But these were actually really, really good.
And I don't know if I mentioned, and this might be 11 or 10 plus, whatever. You know I love hanami in Japan. You guys had the frushi, the ahi tuna poke with the sesame ginger is always a returning favorite.
Oh, yeah. We have to come every year just for the frushi because Mary and Nicholas love the frushi. And the tuna poke, you cannot miss. And come to Japan without getting a tuna poke during Garden Line.
So I didn't record every marketplace that we stopped along the way in World Showcase, but I did want to record and capture some of our reactions to some of the marketplace items as we were going through. So here's just a few of some of our favorites from this year's Flower and Garden Festival. So before we got started today, I told everybody to go through the booklet first. We did a little reconnaissance mission here yesterday before we recorded, and I told them to mark off some of the items that interested them, but I wanted each of them to pick out just one, so we can almost come up with a top 4/top 5 list of the things that you need to try while you're here. Telling them to do that is like telling me and Tim Foster to come up with a top 10 list, because we're starving and everything looks and smells so good. So as we were making our way around the promenade, we stopped over in Mexico at Jardín de Fiestas. I don't know what that means. Oh, wait, you do know what that means?
Yes, it means garden of parties. Because Jardín is garden and Fiestas is parties.
Our education money is paying off.
More importantly, it is like it's about to be a garden of parties in my belly. Stop. Wait, you guys are not supposed to be eating first.
Stop it. You're pushing my hand over.
So the sounds of the birds in the background is only overshadowed by the sounds of the vultures around this table. I know you guys are starving. You can't wait to dig in. We actually ordered 2 of the 3 items on the menu. We decided to save the tres leches for later on because it looks like a delectable dessert. But we ordered the chili relleno with picadillo, which is a battered poblano pepper filled with ground beef, with tomato sauce, with queso fresco, and toasted almonds. You guys could not wait until I actually started to hit record to start digging in on that. Nicholas, you have not come up from air already. What do you guys think of this so far?
So I really enjoy the how lightly fried the green bell pepper is, and the beef on the pepper. It's delicious. It's actually not too spicy.
Right, because when you see that it's a poblano pepper, you might not know, is that a very spicy type of pepper? Or, Marion, what do you Nicholas, you haven't stopped eating, so you obviously must like this.
It's really good. It's like, it has a little bit of a sweet.
Yeah, it has raisins in it.
It has like that, like it gives it a really good sweet and savory, like they counter each other perfectly.
I agree.
I wouldn't know because you guys hardly left me any. Could you move your fork for 1 second so I can get a taste?
Also, the other thing too is there's a nice little crunch in here. They have some almonds that are scattered throughout the dish, which is actually delicious.
Oh, so I really like this. I love Mexican food. And you're right, the pepper is just a little bit of heat almost in the back of the palate. The meat, there's almost a sweetness to the meat from the tomato sauce. But you're right, the queso fresco and the almonds gives a nice texture and crunch to it. And then the other we ordered was the brocheta de pollo de salsa morito, which is grilled chicken with red and green bell peppers, which obviously are not hot. A salsa chili morita, and garnished with micro cilantro and edible flowers.
Okay, let me just warn you. If you have a very low tolerance for spice, this is not for you. It is good, not for you. If you do not have a high tolerance to spice.
I actually kind of like it
There's
because
a little bit of a heat.
there's like it gives you a
Not too much.
you eat it and then you taste the flavors and then at the end it just sends a wave of heat.
Yeah.
So I get that wave of heat, and unlike the chili relleno, which sort of sits on the back of it does. You get sort of a wave. It covers your whole tongue in spice, and then you get a little bit of heat. But I'm going to tell you, so I love this, and this is almost in type of a dark, almost like a mole type of a sauce, just to sort of give you an idea of what it looks like. And I'll post pictures in the show notes. But what I like about this dish and some of the other dishes is that they are not afraid to turn up the heat a little bit. We saw this at Festival of the Arts. We're seeing it again here. There are some things that have a little bit of an additional spice and heat to it. She told us when we ordered it that it was going to be spicy. Nicholas,
I have to go and get some water, so we will be back.
All right, you go get water. But I like this. I like a little bit of heat, not so much so that it is overpowering, but so much so that it adds a great deal of flavor. Nicholas, you're like me. You like a little bit of the heat. The girls have run off to get something to drink to wash it down. But is that something you would order again?
Yeah, but I'm warning you, do not take a giant whiff of that sauce. My mouth is burning.
But to me, it's a good burn. It's not a burn because I thought there was a great flavor to that one. I actually think I like the flavor of that better than I like the chili relleno because it came in waves. And when we talk about sort of layers of flavor, you definitely got that. The chicken was tender. There was a moist and sweetness to it. Then you got sort of your palate covered in one wave. And then you got that sort of second little kick. That's a good way to start the day, though. Sort of wakes you right up, right?
And it'll get me prepared for what comes next.
It's going to be a long, delicious, stretchy pants kind of day.
I'm ready.
Bring it.
I'm ready.
Making your way around the promenade, one thing that was circled on everybody's list as we sort of did a little recon before getting here today was the Bauner Market, which is the farmers market in and next to Germany. We're sort of in between Germany and the African outpost. And here, I will tell you that I had a very tough time not ordering everything on the menu. There's a potato pancake with applesauce. There's one with caramelized ham, onions, and herb sour cream. Currywurst with paprika chips. I had this at a preview event a few weeks ago, and I'm going to, spoiler alert, this was my favorite thing that I ate at that event. There's also a warm cheese strudel with mixed berries that I did not get. We did get the potato pancake with caramelized ham and the currywurst. Let's start with potato pancakes because this is something that was on everybody's list. It is a, well, you guys devoured it before I could even start to describe what it looked like. But it's a large potato pancake with chunks of ham. Yeah, just leave one bite for me is all I'm asking at this point. It's a feeding frenzy over there. Large chunks of caramelized, large pieces of caramelized onions. There's a lot of ham on top of here. And somewhere I'm trying to find that one little piece of potato pancake left. All right, anybody thoughts right off the bat?
Yeah. What's that? Okay, so it's really, really good. The pancake's nice and small, and it's really soft. And the ham is really nicely cooked, and there's a lot of it. And there's this sauce that's really good, and a lot of caramelized onions, which also adds a lot of flavor.
So the sauce, it's an herb sour cream. So you actually taste a little bit of the herbs in there, but I love the saltiness of the ham with the saltiness of, I'm a salt guy, with the saltiness of the potato pancake and the sweetness of the caramelized onions. It's flames on the side. And Nicholas?
That was awesome.
Scale of 1 to 10, what would you give that?
I would give that a 8.
I give that a 7.
8.5.
I would give it about an 8.5, and it's got a great beat and you can dance to it. But I really want to get to the currywurst with paprika chips. It almost looks like a traditional sort of German bratwurst, right? But there's that curry in the sauce. And I'm going to have just one piece and let you guys devour the rest because I had about 11 of these.
I didn't expect it to be so sweet.
Right?
The sauce is so delicious. It's nice and sweet. And the sausage is not spicy at all.
But the curry, there's a spice with the curry, yeah.
Yeah, like I love it because it's like it has that pepper, like that, like just that little spice, but it's so sweet and like the sausage is so tender.
Right, Marion. So you've been eating the paprika spice chips.
Can we just put a bag of these in my bag on the way home? I'm totally a chips girl. I am not a sweet girl either. And they are delicious. They are such a nice little...
This to me is the surprise, and this is not a new item.
Wow.
This is the surprise winner of Flower and Garden Festival.
I have to agree with you. I'm going to go order another one. Thank you.
Right? And can we?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were serious.
I am.
But this is one that I will make a special trip and come back for.
I'm having this next time I come again.
So you came here for the potato pancakes, but you're coming back for the currywurst, right?
Yep.
You like this? You like this better than the potato pancake?
No, not me. I like the potato pancake.
But you know what, though? This and the potato pancake, that's a nice meal right there. You can also get...
It's very reasonable, too. I think it's $6 for each.
Right. And a good
And
portion
you get a really
size.
good portion. I mean, we shared one between the four of us.
There's also 4 different beers. There's the organic brut with the Elderflower, the Munich Lager, the Hefeweizen, a black lager, and a beer flight, which a lot of the people are clearly on line for.
Right.
But Germany, the Bauern Market, those 2 items make a full meal right there.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced a Bouncer Market, like Bouncer Market. I don't know.
No, there's no T.
So I'm very nostalgic about the potato pancake because my mother and I on Sunday mornings after church used to go and get potato pancakes at Perkins, and it used to come with a side of sour cream and a side of applesauce. The way that these are served were a little bit different, obviously because the ham, but it did have the sour cream.
Well, you can get one with just the applesauce if you want, if you don't want the meat with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why they have to.
That's nice that you do that because that's originally how a traditional
I was going to do both of them, but I know we have miles to go before we sleep.
We do, and it's nice.
Look at that pretzel that the guy's eating.
Bye.
Our next stop around the promenade and around the world takes us to the Taste of Marrakesh in Morocco, where we just did make all that happen, which is all 3 items on the food menu: the merguez hot dog sausage, which is spicy beef and lamb with sautéed onions and green peppers, the homemade falafel, returning again with pickled beet and turnip, tomato salad, and tahini sauce, and the baklava, which Marion is dying to dig into because I know you are a sweet eater. I think the merguez sausage, is new this year. Let's dig in. While you guys start taking a taste of that, there's also 4 items on the beverage menu. There's a Casa Lager, a red wine, a white sangria, and a Desert Rose. Not the song by Sting, but a sparkling wine topped with a pomegranate liqueur, which I've had a taste of in the past, which is really, really nice. And it's a nice balance of the tangy and the tartness of the wine with a little bit of the sweetness of the pomegranate liqueur. So I dig this a lot. Ryan, you like this?
It's pretty spicy, but I really like it. You can definitely taste like the flavor.
Yeah, so I think it's so in the past I used to have like the lamb kefka. I like this even more because you get that taste of the lamb, which I think is part of is what you're tasting in there, but a real nice different type of not even like a curry spice. There's a lot of different flavors in there too, and it's fun because it's in like a regular hot dog bun, so it is sort of a pick it up and eat it kind of food, but obviously easily shareable. I think all the items came in at $6, $5, and $4, so it was $15 for all 3. You guys are already digging into the falafel. This is a returning favorite. They've had the falafel. They've had falafel fries in the past.
The falafel is definitely a favorite. With the pickled beet and the nice tomatoes on top, it's very, very refreshing. It's not heavy at all. But you could definitely make a meal out of it.
It's even though it's fried, it's a light fry, so it's not a very heavy, it's not a greasy dish altogether. And I think the little bit of the pickled beets adds that little bit of a tang and a twang to it.
Yes.
That is a nice balance, and there's also a crunch to that that's different than the crunch of the fry.
It's really, really good, and the best thing is that it's also very colorful and really like pretty too. So the beet is like a really pretty like pink color with like the tomatoes, and then the green of the falafel. It's really, really good.
So right, like we noticed this during presentation of the arts that Festival of the Arts. That presentation of the food is important, and you sometimes think that, street food and grab-and-go food off kiosks, but the presentation of these foods is delicious, including the baklava, which Marion is already digging into. That was the thing that was high on. That was like the thing that you checked off on your list that you wanted most, right?
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. It's delicious. I want to eat this every single day.
So the baklava is that the phyllo dough. There's sliced almonds. There's a chocolate and the nut inside.
And there's a vegan option also. It's marked here as a vegan option because there's nothing in there that a vegan can eat.
Nicholas, did you try this yet?
Yes, it is. It's very good because there's a little bit of the crunch from that dough, and the chocolate is a really good taste, and the almonds add a little bit of saltiness and it's just a really good dish. Recommended.
So you get that sweetness from the honey.
I'm sure it's delicious, but I gave up sweets for Lent. So Marion is going to give my partake on what it tasted like.
Deanna, just stop licking your fingers.
I know,
because I think
exactly.
So Marion, is that now all of a sudden
my piece in record seconds.
Is that your favorite thing so far?
Mm-hmm.
That would be your recommendation for Flower and Garden so far?
Oh yeah. And I think you can also get it year round too.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Place, yeah.
Yeah, we did a review of Tangerine Cafe a few months ago. If you go and check on past episodes, and in the back where the coffee bar is, they have a variety of different baklavas in there, including my favorite is the pistachio. I love the pistachio baklava.
Okay,
all right, onward and upward.
Feel free to clap along and stomp your feet. The third floor's open. Well done,
In the shadow of the Mill Stage in Canada is the Cider House at the United Kingdom. We're going to see if the Cider House does, in fact, actually rule, because we ordered 2 of the 3 items on the menu. The pear cider brined shredded corned beef with braised cabbage and pears and Branston dressing, as well as the house-made potato and cheddar cheese biscuit with the smoked salmon tartare. And Deanna also ordered, because it is the Cider House, the beverage menu is very cider heavy. You actually order the hard cider flight, which comes with the card that includes a black cherry hard cider from West Seneca, New York, like Darlene Nagy, a Florida Beer Company Carib Blood Orange tropical hard cider from Cape Canaveral in Florida, and the Cider Boys Strawberry Magic Hard Cider from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. First thing I noticed when we were handing our food was the portion of corned beef. There is a ton. It felt like there was a pound of corned beef in that in the container.
So I have to tell you, being half Irish, every St. Patrick's Day at my house was bigger than Christmas. This corned beef, I'm going to get the recipe, is decadent. It's very sweet. It's extremely sensory and extremely tasteful because the apples and the pears and the cabbage that are mixed in it makes it so juicy. I'm just going to feed Lewis right now so that he can taste all the.
That's really weird. I'm going to feed myself because that's obviously way smaller of a portion than I would want to put in my face anyway. Mary Nicholas, did you guys try this yet?
Yeah. It's really good. You can really taste the pear and the cabbage. And it's dressed really nice, and it's literally just fall apart. It's so good and so tender.
And that's such an important part of corned beef is how well it's cooked. You want it to literally fall apart, but not be to the point where it's overcooked and it's hard on the outside. I love whatever that Branston dressing and the sweetness of the pears cut sort of a little bit of the bitterness of the cabbage. And look, we're all sharing that. Look at how much,
that's a huge portion.
That's a huge portion, and it's not a huge portion of cabbage with a little bit of meat. That's a huge portion of corned beef with a lot of cabbage underneath. Nicholas, you try that?
Yeah. It's really good, and it has a little bit of a sweet flavor. You could taste the pear, but it's countered with a little bit of the saltiness of the corned beef. But yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's a great way to prepare corned beef because of all the different taste textures that you have in it.
I can't believe how the taste of the pear is
It adds such a wonderful flavor to the corned beef.
You'd almost think, oh, sweet, with corned beef doesn't make any sense because it is such a very, very savory dish. But it's just a little bit of a hint of it on top. And it adds a nice layer of flavor to it. Now, you also ordered the cheddar cheese biscuit, which you had me at potato and cheddar cheese biscuit, with the salmon tartare on top.
The biscuit is so herb. It has such nice herbs in it, and it's light. You would think that a biscuit is really heavy. It's really not, and it also has some sour cream on it. It's delicious.
So I'm sorry, Maria.
It's really, really light, and the salmon adds a lot of the flavor to what it already has, which is really herbal and really good.
I love the salmon. It's like you said, it's a very light dish, which you wouldn't expect when you hear biscuit. You think it's a big sort of heavy, belly bomb type biscuit, but it's not all wrong. And I love this. Look, I'm a sushi guy. I love salmon sashimi.
Totally. But you know what? It's almost like a pate though. It's not a sushi grade. It's a pate with herbs in it and the sour cream. And it adds. I'd like that on a bagel. Can you box that up and put it on a bagel for me in the morning?
So now tell me how that matches with the flight that you ordered, the cider flight.
So far, the best one is this is the one from where Darlene Nagy lives in West Seneca. It is the McKinsey's Black Cherry Hard Cider. And let me tell you can really taste the black cherries. Yeah. It's delicious. The next one is the tropical hard cider. It's Blood Orange, the Florida beer company Caribe Blood Orange from Cape Canaveral. So that one is a little bit on the drier side, if that's possible. It's not as sweet as the black cherry from West Seneca, New York. And the last one is the strawberry. The strawberry is very sweet. So far out of the three, my favorite is definitely the one from good old New York, New York.
And what I love about this, and this is something else that we were talking about in terms of one of the reasons why we love this festival so much. Obviously, the music here in Canada is a staple. It's here all the time. But being able to walk the promenade and then just wander with your friends, we just sort of grab a table right here by the water. There's a beautiful breeze blowing. It's a perfect day. Eating sort of al fresco like this with the music in the background from so many of the different pavilions and the cultures around the world, this makes for such a nice day.
So the other thing too is we're really lucky because our kids really have these eclectic palates that are absolutely amazing. They will try anything as long as it's not moving or wiggling and when they go to put it in their mouth. But other than that, they really do. They'll take at least a taste of something for the first time and they'll say either yay or nay, but...
And look, and we tell that, I tell them all the time, try something once and then tell me that you don't like it.
Right.
And we are fortunate. And this is what look, we say this all the time. It's why we love this event. It's why we love Festival of the Arts. It's why we love food and wine, because it gives not just your kids, but you the opportunity to sample something. It's a $4, $5, $6, $7 investment to try something you probably might not try anywhere else. When you can go to Morocco or Japan or China or some of these other destinations, even something like this, a salmon tartare is not something you might find in your local neighborhood restaurant or wherever you might be, but it gives you a chance to sample, go, hey, you know what, I actually do kind of like that. And we've made our kids adventurous eaters because of that. And I think, Marion, you'll admit, you like to try a lot of new things.
Yeah, I really like to try a lot of things, and the thing that you said about just coming here and sitting and it's a perfect day going and eating around the world pretty much. It's when you're here at the Flower and Garden Festival, almost anywhere you can see a topiary or a nice arrangement, which is my favorite part because I really like doing photography and stuff. So I really like being able to take pictures of the flowers.
It really is such a we talked about this when we reviewed Festival of the Arts, how it's such a multi-sensory type experience. You're enjoying this festival with all five senses in 360 degrees. It's not just about what you taste, but the presentation is beautiful. The topiaries, now that they're interactive, you can get in and out of them. There's a lot of activities for kids to do. We're talking about a lot of these things on the show, obviously, but as we sort of look as an overall view of it, that's what makes this I think what makes it our favorite event, even beyond a food and wine festival, is it's not just about the food and wine is not just a star. It's all the other secondary and tertiary things that go along with it.
So I have to agree with you with regards to your senses. I think you're able to really add onto all those senses while you're here, especially at this festival. And and coming with your family too, they have so many other things to do, or they have a bunch of playgrounds to stop with your kids. Again, seeing all the topiaries are just absolutely my favorite. Marion is so into photography now that she loves to stop and take pictures of all the flowers. And the other thing, too, is that I find at this festival, because they make it more family-friendly, I think, there are so many things on the menu that are non-alcoholic. So, for instance, a lot of the drinks that they incorporate alcohol with, they also incorporate a non-alcoholic version, so that way your kids can also try it. You can try it with the alcohol as an adult, but the kids get to try it and test their palate with regards to the...
And there's a lot of people that don't necessarily want to have an alcoholic beverage, and it's great to have those options beyond a water or a soda or a drink, to be able to have, whether it's a non-alcoholic type of a cider or something like that. So we're going to keep on moving on. We are almost done with our trip around the world, and then we'll recap. I think as we sort of wrap this up, there are so many other opportunities and bests of the best. There's learning opportunities over at the Festival Center, which is open on weekends from 10 to 5. You can learn about the horticulture. You can meet some of the horticulturists, find out not only how they grow and maintain the gardens here and the flowers here all year long, but how you can do that at home. You can learn about Walt's vision from Walt's vision to the present day horticultural vistas that are present not just in this park, but throughout Walt Disney World. There's also about the making of the Flower and Garden Festival and how this all comes together. There's also a lot of stuff here for kids, and this is something that I see coming even more so here. You can connect with the conservation specialists from the Animals, Science, and Environment Group and connect with nature. That's from March 31st through April 2nd, and again April 28th through April 30th. And there's a new little mascot that I met. If you look at my Instagram or Facebook, you'll see there's a miniature beagle who is here.
It's so bad. It looks so cute.
He's like me. He's like so cute and cuddly and huggable. What do you mean, ill? Anyway, but it does give you an opportunity to meet some of the team members from Disney's Animal Science and Environment Group, as well as some of the other nonprofit organizations. From getting a chance to speak with them, I learned so much about what they are doing in terms of environmentality and things that, I think a lot of us are aware of Disney's environmental efforts at a very surface level, obviously with recycling. But Marion, do you know what they do with the food scraps that are taken and the leftovers from all of the restaurants at the end of the day? You know what? I'm not going to tell you, because we're going to go back and you're going to learn from the ASA people. You can also celebrate Earth Day in April. The other thing we didn't mention too, other than very briefly, were the tours. There are tours throughout Epcot. We love the Tea Tour, especially more so. But there's also a Gardens of the World tour, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 12. There is a Behind the Seeds tour at the Land every day from 10:30 to 4. Now, those are multiple times.
All year round,
That's all year round. But what I think people don't realize, this is a great opportunity to take part in one of those tours, especially the Gardens of the World tour. I don't know what the pricing is offhand. I believe the Behind the Seeds tour is only $10, $12, $15, somewhere around there, but it's a really neat opportunity to go behind the scenes at the Land Pavilion and take a look and see how that all comes together. So if we had to stop for 1 second and tell me, we're talking about the best of the Flower and Garden Festival. And I know you are my family, so we don't have a concept of just saying one thing. But if you had to pick one thing and say to somebody who's never been before, if you were talking kids to one of your friends, or Deanna talking to somebody from back home, to say, what is the one thing or the one reason, the one attractor that why people should come to Flower and Garden Festival, what would it be?
The butterfly garden.
Why?
Because I love butterflies and the flowers.
It's not the most compelling reason in the world. Think on that again, because I know you can come up with something even more compelling, other than the fact that you just love the butterflies.
I just love butterflies.
Mom can go first. I need to.
So I would say you need to just come and experience walking around with your family, seeing all the topiaries, using all your senses, and just soaking it all in, because there's so much here to take in, along with all of the flowers that are so beautiful. Within all the countries, they have these wonderful little areas in each country at each food venue, and they speak about lemons and oranges and the herbs they use, and there's just so much to learn and to just take in. So I think that's my favorite thing to just come and do here.
Here's my compelling reason. I still really like butterflies, and I really like being able to get up close and being able to even hold a butterfly and take a picture and look at all the flowers. It's just cool.
Do you feel that when you've come here, do you find that, and I'm going to come back to you because it's an interesting thing that nobody has said yet. Go ahead.
My favorite thing, so I couldn't decide between anything because it's all great. My favorite thing is the experience you get from coming here just once. Like the butterfly garden is awesome. One thing. What's the one thing that the food.
You are my son. I love you so much for saying that.
Okay.
So the one thing that's interesting about all this is we have talked about coming to this park, all the things to see, all the things to do, all the things to experience. Flower and Garden Festival is not a one-day event. You cannot do that. You could, but I don't think you should do this all in one day, because there's so much to see and do, from the gardens to the topiaries to the food, that you really can come to Flower and Garden. And I think you need to allot at least 2 days to really enjoy it. But the one thing that nobody mentioned this whole time was going on an attraction.
Nope.
We've been here for 2 days, and there's obviously, look, I know if you're coming here and you're visiting, you want to ride Test Track, you want to ride Soarin', you want to go on Spaceship Earth, but there is so much to do beyond that. And because the weather is so perfect, and there's this beautiful breeze in the air, and it's something that you can do, again, going back to Walt, that you can do together as a family. I think that is one of the reasons why I love this event, and I'm as excited and passionate for it, is because it is a true family event. You can come here alone, you can come here with a spouse, you can come here with your friends. You can enjoy it however it is that you want to.
Like going to the butterfly garden.
Right. I mean, that was my biggest thing, just to come and experience, everything that's here and encompass every one of your senses into this awesome event.
And I think this is one that, like the food, is meant to be savored. I think it's one that you do take slowly and take the time to wander, not just in and out of the gardens, but in and out of the pavilions. I heard somebody yesterday say, did you know about all those little streets and hidden alleyways in Morocco? Like, he had never been there before because he was looking for the egg. Mm-hmm. All right, maybe I just gave... And I think that's what this is meant to do. It is meant for you to really savor Epcot. And it is, when we talk about it being a savory event, it is not just in a culinary sense, it is for all of your senses. So I want you, the listener, to tell me, have you been there this year? More importantly, what is your best of the best? What is your favorite part of the Epcot International Flower and Garden and Food and Wine and Savory Fest 2017? But Marion, I think that you've made I think that we understand the Butterfly Garden. And you know what? Because I love you,
we're gonna go
there. And no, I wasn't talking to you. I was pointing to the Go-Go Squeeze. That's why we're gonna go walk through the Butterfly Garden.
So just take a bunch of your friends, get them together, come walk around and experience this awesome event that Epcot is putting on. And, hats off to the awesome chefs that put this together, the people that put all these awesome plants together and all these things that, the topiaries. And it's an amazing experience that you need to really come and explore. And
that's exactly how I was going to finish it off, was to say, we have to make sure we recognize the cast members that do this. There is a team of people that is putting this together. The day that this event is over is when they start planning next year. So from the horticultural team to the culinary team to the butterfly team, everybody who puts this event together, it is an army of people that makes all this happen and look and smell and taste as good as it does. So when you do come here, please do me a favor and thank a cast member for what they've done, including so many of them that are not on stage but are behind the scenes. And Marion, for you, butterflies on the go.
See ya. Thank you.
See you.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry again. Always hungry. I'm like the Hulk, but with he's always angry. I'm always hungry. It's time for our Walt Disney World Trivia Question of the Week, where I invite you to test your knowledge of Walt Disney World's history or see how well you pay attention to the details, sometimes in what you see, sometimes in what you hear. Eventually, it's going to be in something that you have probably eaten while you're there. And if you think you know the answer, you can enter via our online form for a chance to win a Disney Prize package. Before we get to this week's question, we're going to go back, review last week's, and select our winner. So last week I was talking about how Walt Disney World is always changing. I think in the next few months and years you're going to see a massive change and growth and expansion, even beyond what we know already. And I think we're always, as Disney fans and really the Disney company, is always looking to the future, just like Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom. And I think that too is also going to grow, evolve, and change, and some new things will come in, and maybe we'll lose some things along the way. One of those attractions, which replaced one of my early favorites, was Stitch's Great Escape, which opened in 2004. And so I asked you last week to tell me, what was the very first attraction to occupy the space which isn't currently housing Stitch's Great Escape? I want to first thank the literally thousands of you that entered via email, or more importantly, the online form, because I have your address, so if you win, I can send you your prize package. And you, of course, know the answer that while Tomorrowland, when it opened in 1971, didn't really have a lot going on at that time, for Christmas, sort of as a Christmas present to Disney fans that year, Flight to the Moon opened on Christmas Eve. It was just about 4 years later in spring of 1975 when that closed to sort of reroute and change the destination for our Mission to Mars, which opened in June of 1975. So, again, thanks to all of you who entered. I took all of the correct entries, randomly selected one, and again, you were playing for the 102 Ways to Save Money for an At Walt Disney World book, the audio tours, the Magic Band cover, the stickers, and I'm throwing in a hot and cold WDW Radio travel mug, not available in stores, to the winner. And last week's winner, randomly selected, is Tom McCaskill. So, Tom, congratulations. You did use the online form, so I have your address. I will get your prize package out to right away. But if you played last week and didn't win, that's okay. Forget about last week. Keep moving forward, because here's your next chance to enter in this week's Walt Disney World Trivia Challenge. So we're going to go from Tomorrowland and Magic Kingdom over to Disney's Animal Kingdom, and one of really, I think, a groundbreaking attraction, one that really goes back to an initial idea that Walt had for having live animals as part of the guest experience. And we're, of course, going to Kilimanjaro Safaris. My question for you is to see how well you pay attention not to the animals on the savannah, but what you hear. Because when your tour guide calls over the radio to the warden, what is the warden's code name? So when he or she calls out to the warden to get him or her on the radio, he calls out via a call sign. What is that call sign? What is the name that is used for the warden? I don't want his or her real name. I want the warden's call sign. So you have until Sunday, March 12th at 11:59 p.m. to go to WDWRadio.com, click on this week's show notes in the podcast section. There you'll find the online entry form. Fill it out with your answer, because, again, you're playing for the book, the tours, the Magic Band cover, the stickers. So I need your address to send you a physical package. And you know what? I'm going to send you the hot and cold travel mug because you guys seem to really like those. So good luck and have fun. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you again so much for taking the time to tune in this and every week. Going to quickly go over just a couple of reminders and announcements. First of all, don't forget that you can now download my new book, 102 Things You Need to Do at Walt Disney World at least once, for free, just by visiting WDWRadio.com. Sign up for the newsletter there. I will send you a link to download your book/checklist. Also, please go and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/WDWRadio. Be sure and turn on notifications as I go live, not just every Wednesday night, either from the parks or from the studio, but a lot of times I will go live from the parks, take you on a tour with me, whether it's through Flower and Garden, an attraction, a meal, whatever it might be. If you click on this week's show notes, there's a video there showing you exactly how to turn on notifications. Don't forget that the purge of my Disney collection is still going on eBay. I list about 10 to 15 new items, sometimes bundles of items, everything from cast member materials to pre-opening documents, things that I've collected over the year. I am out of space and would rather see them go to a good home and or office. They start and end every Sunday night. You can visit WDWRadio.com/eBay to check out this week's auctions. I want to thank some recent new members of the WDW Radio Nation family, including Beth Hausberger, Gilly Rosenthal, David Roshoni, Aaron Andes, and Leah Althusser. I sincerely appreciate all of you. I want to welcome you officially to the Nation family. If you want to find out how you can not only help support the show, but get exclusive monthly rewards like scavenger hunts, care packages, logo gear, access to our private Facebook group. We do monthly live video group calls with Nation members, personalized Magic Band covers, and more. Please visit WDWRadio.com/support. And don't forget that a portion of your proceeds do go to the Dream Team Project to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America. All right, very quickly, don't forget that I want to hear from you. I want you to be part of the show. If you have a question that you want me to answer during our listener email segment, you can email me, lou@WDWRadio.com. If you want to be heard on the air calling from the parks, have a comment about this week's show, call 407-900-9391. That's 407-900-WDW1. Of course, while I love connecting with you online, and I am at Lou Mongello on all the social, and don't forget about our Facebook page at facebook.com/WRadio. There's nothing that beats a handshake and a hug. That is why I do monthly meetups as well as lots of other special events and group cruises. If you check out the events page over on Facebook, you'll find out about what is coming, including our next cruise, our double dip to Castaway Cay this summer. You can find out how you can join us in Alaska on the Disney Wonder in summer 2018. Some other things we have coming up as well. I do not have March's Meet of the Month date as yet, but that and Twitter and Facebook is where you will find out. And also stay tuned to LouMongello.com, and because I will be traveling throughout the country, actually the world this summer, going to speak to conferences and events and to schools. And if maybe I can help you with your event or come speak to your school or maybe help you individually turn what you love into what you do, visit LouMongello.com. You can find out about some personal mentoring and some group coaching. And I will be announcing my Momentum Weekend Workshop, which will take place this fall in Walt Disney World. Again, by staying tuned to social, I'll probably do a live video in the next week or so. Again, everything you can find over at WDWRadio.com. I want to thank Mousefan Travel, who my official and recommended travel provider. Visit them over at mousefantravel.com, and little Timmy Foster over at celebrationspress.com. And as always, my friend, and you are my friend. Whether we have met yet or not, you continue to demonstrate that week after week. All I ask in return is if you like the show, please help spread the word. I want you to go out and tell some of your friends about it. Tweet out that you're listening. Post a link to this or your favorite episode in your favorite Facebook group, on your favorite Facebook page. And please take 30 seconds to rate and review the show over on iTunes. Thanks to you, we have more than 1,200 five-star reviews. We hit number 2 overall among podcasts worldwide last year, and for that, I am grateful. I want to thank some recent reviewers like Brian and Brittany Becker, say that 3 times fast, who said they love the top 10 cast member episode They were cheering so loud that little Timmy Foster wanted to be John Lennon. Nobody doesn't like Lou, says Disney Dad 0503. He says, arguably one of the best produced podcasts out there. No one shouts Disney like Lou, listening for years. Ben Lawson 906 from the United Kingdom says, life-altering, magic-spreading goodness. Says, I can't explain the feeling this show gives you. It's the only thing that gets me through my days at work. Lou inspires you to follow your dreams and keep moving forward. He says, thanks, Lou. You've changed my life. Ben, you have done the same, simply by virtue of you listening. NYC Dreamer 9 says, the podcast is a treasure. Lou shares his joy and passion about Disney and life in general in a genuine, natural way. I really enjoy learning about the details of the parks and attractions. I love the pop culture references peppered into the podcasts. I love little Timmy Foster and Lou's other guests. Not only does the podcast help me plan and look forward to my next trip, but it inspires me to find the joy in everyday life. Thank you, Lou. Your friend, Amanda. Amanda, thank you. Thanks to all of you who have left a review recently or in the past. If you want to find out how, visit wdwradio.com/iTunes. It'll give you instructions on how to do it. Finally, I know I said I was going to be short. I've gone long again, but I want to say thank you again so much for just being here, for taking the time to share your time with me and spend it with me. And thank you for just letting me do what I do and share it with you. And you are such an important and critical and loved part of this thing that we are doing together, this thing that these footprints that we are sort of leaving in the sand. And for that, I am grateful. And I hope that you are equally as happy doing what you do every day. And if there's some way I could maybe help you go down that path or keep moving forward, please let me know. I hope that you have your best week ever. So until next time, see ya.
Hey, Lou, it's Chris Banis. I just wanted to thank you again for everything that you do, and thanks for being there, and I guess, and I could say, giving me a platform for expanding not only my Disney friends, but also connecting me to people that I will forever hold dear in my heart, and you and your family are on that list. What a great testament to your ability to connect with people. That anniversary call-in show was really an example of that. I know I was touched by what friends were saying, so I can only imagine how you felt. I give you credit for the control of emotion that you were showing. I'm an emotional wreck and even cry at commercials, so I would not have been able to hold that together as well as you did. Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. We will be down in September, so hopefully it will not be at the time that you are gone. Love you and love all of my fellow box people. P.S. Please do more Disney in a minute. Thanks again, Lou. Bye.
Hi, Lou. My name is Hannah. I live in California, but I grew up going to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. I just listened to your episode about the top 10 funniest things at Disney World. I know I'm probably a little bit late, but I wanted to share a couple of experiences I've had on the same line of the characters at Disney dining events, particularly when you are the last member of the family to leave the area. So this would be like if you have a 7 o'clock or an 8 o'clock, character dining appointment, and they're all kind of waiting for you to leave, because I think some of them aren't allowed to leave until you leave. I remember one time when we were little kids, we were at the Liberty Tree Tavern, and we were the last family there. It was us and another family eating together, and all, like Chip and Dale and Minnie and Goofy, they were all at our table. So we got all of them at the same time, and they started fighting and chasing each other around the restaurant, and, Minnie was flirting with my brother, and just really funny stuff. More recently, I was in Disneyland, California for a work conference. I had a similar experience at, is it called Goofy's Cafe? It's attached to one of the hotels. I am not as familiar with Disneyland, California, so this was a fun experience where I said, what's the last appointment they have? And sure enough, we were the last group of just these ladies there for a work conference, and they stayed at our table forever. At one point, Dale had somehow acquired a lightsaber and was, going back and forth with Chip. Dale also kind of there was a little half wall by where one of the ladies in our group was sitting, and he kept kind of peeking up over and reaching over and scaring her. Chip, actually, I think it was Dale again. Dale was on fire. Dale was doing some magic tricks with some sugar packets that did not go according to plan. So I just think I really have to give kudos to those characters and all that they do, completely off script and completely without words. So yeah, just what I would share.
Good morning, Lou Mangello. It's Darlene Nagy from West Seneca, New York, and I'm calling in to say that you guys are now 125 days away from the Double Dip Cruise. And just think, all those Broadway-type shows are going to be at your fingertips to watch after either the first serving of dinner or the second or before the first serving of dinner for us that we normally go to. Then after we go to dinner, we get to go to a show. So not that I'm going on this cruise, but it's the easiest way for me to explain.
Hello, Lou. This is Mike Coran calling from Minnesota. Just a quick congratulations on your 10-year WDW anniversary. A lot of work, and you should be very proud of yourself. Secondly, my wife and I are heading down on our annual tour here with the RV, leaving on coming Wednesday for 5 days at Bay Lake Tower, 5 days at the Beach Club, and a week at Fort Wilderness, and we're both pretty happy we're going to be able to overlap the time with the meet of the month on the 27th of February at Disney Springs, so look forward to seeing you down there. And again, congratulations. Thanks for all you do, Lou. Bye.
Hey, Lou, it's Riley. Calling you from my dorm room at St. Leah University. Just wanted to say I just got done finished listening to top 10 cast member roles you'd want to be. And as a former college program participant and once again, future college program participant in the summer, I got to say being cast member is probably one of the best things that I've ever done and one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. Keep up the good work. Thank you for making cardio a little bit easier with your shows. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Bye.